Hello, guys. How are you? I'm Tom. This is Tae. So we put together a quick presentation for you guys, just demonstrating breathing practices that we intend to be teaching. We're going to run a full course. I believe Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays we're going to be teaching a lot of content, which we'll talk more about at the very end of this presentation. But for now, we're just going to dive right in, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. This entire thing is going to be designed to give you very practical, quick, easy ways to both boost your immune functions, improve your respiration, lower inflammation in the body, lower mucus in the body, and honestly, this is going to really bulletproof your immune system. So we hope you do enjoy.
So this is brought to you by Key Body and Spirit. Tom and I, we've been working on this program called NeuroFlex that we'll be doing and hosting these classes in Great Neck, the Key Body and Spirit Center. And Tom and I have been partnering up through the PHI Center to create this new program called NeuroFlex. Tom, can you tell us more about what NeuroFlex is? Briefly?
Very briefly. NeuroFlex basically is a program that's going to help people learn how to balance their bodies, balance themselves structurally, so improve posture. And as a result of doing that, we're going to improve blood pressure, blood flow. It's going to boost cognitive faculties, cognitive efficiency, your ability to focus. It's going to improve blood flow into the brain. So the benefits are going to span the entire body. It's going to be mind, body, emotions, mental health, everything. But really, that's what we're doing. We're bringing everything into alignment. And a lot of that is also going to include these types of practices that we're going to be covering. Things like breathwork. Breathwork is going to be a huge component of that. But it's really just about creating and building balance into the body.
Okay, cool. So in order to do NeuroFlex, we're not being limited to a specific modality. We're going to be bringing together the elements of yoga, qigong, personal training, for the sole purpose of bringing the body into the correct position for posture. And as a side effect of having good posture, your brain function and your breathing function will increase. But we'll talk about that more later. But today's topic is all about the breath, considering what's going on today right now about the lockdown due to COVID-19. We felt that this breathing technique is going to boost not only the immune functions, but also help people who are suffering from the effects of COVID-19, which is poor lung function.
Right.
So please, hope you guys enjoy this. Grab a friend and watch this video together. We encourage you to listen, and we have a lot of information that we want to cover on.
Bottom line, the takeaway is a sound body makes a sound mind, and a sound mind makes a sound body. And learning how to use the breath in the correct way really fixes a lot of things biochemically. It changes your physiology. It changes your biology. It can even shift and change your brain in a very physical way. And all of those things play into your body's ability to handle any kind of stress. And that could be emotional, mental stress, of course, but also physical stress in the form of illness. And really, that's what we're here to teach. It's just how do we use the breath to boost immune function, to boost mental and emotional resilience. And so I just said all that, but let's just recap. We're going to modulate our stress response, dampen inflammation, reduce mucus buildup in our lungs, and of course, strengthen and boost our immune functions.
This is very important because right now, the people who are contracting the COVID-19 and with people who are hospitalized, and what are they trying to do? They're trying to get machines to breathe for them. So why? So that they can survive this epidemic. And we're going to teach you how to build those muscles of respiration to breathe better, so that even if you don't have a respirator, perhaps this may give you a better shot on surviving this. And this is why we felt very, very urgent to make this video right now.
Yeah. And just one other thing to top off on that. In the coming classes that we're going to teach, we're going to cover a lot of proper actual breathing principles. So most of us don't know how to breathe correctly, and a lot of that is actually causing the dysfunctions we see in society. And that could be anything from ADD, ADHD, to poor posture, you name it. So learning how to breathe correctly on a day-to-day is crucial to good health. So definitely tune into those classes, because honestly, we're going to cover a lot. But who are we? Let's start with that.
Many of us know, many of those who are watching this, most of you guys know who we are, but for those people who don't know us, my name is Tae, and we've been doing some crazy stuff. And here's a photo that we skipped ahead before.
Yeah, so Tae and I have been hosting these workshops for a very long time now. Basically, we teach people how to breathe, how to use both their bodies, their breath, and their minds to create this incredible strong resilience. And then we pair that with these fun ice plunges, which also have their own added benefit of dampening inflammation in the body, boosting immune functions, and of course, just creating overall sound, resilient mind and body. And you guys see here, we do a lot of these workshops, and certainly hope that after this whole COVID-19 thing dies down and blows over and people are feeling well, you join us for these, because we're hosting them throughout the entire year. That being said, we are going to talk about a lot of the breathing practices. I do want to throw in one caveat. If currently your bodies are prone to, maybe you're already holding the disease, maybe you're asymptomatic, or whatever the case is, your body's fighting it off, or you're already sick, avoid these cold plunges, avoid cold showers, because that's an unnecessary added stress for the body. So let the body handle the virus in its own way. Don't add unnecessary stress to it, but absolutely incorporate the breathing principles that we are going to talk about. And that's us.
Tom, how many minutes have we done in the ice cold plunges when we're in there right now?
I mean, we started off at 2 minutes. I think we worked our way up to something like 7, and we could probably easily be pushing 10. But we, of course, pace ourselves so that we don't stress the body out too much, because, again, too much of anything can potentially be harmful and, hurt you. So, yes, last time we did it, we did a solid 7 minutes, and that felt pretty good. Felt pretty easy.
And did we ever get sick doing this? Right. Why? Why is that?
Well, the fact that we do pair the breathing practices prior to engaging in activities like this, we've built a very strong immune response. We've built a very strong resilience to any kind of physical stress, which this is, and emotional and mental stress, which this also produces. Because, of course, you're getting into an ice cold bath. You're freaking out. That's a very stressful response. But practicing these things on a day-to-day, it builds such incredible resilience. And one of the guys that we're going to talk about is Wim Hof, and he's really the one who inspired a lot of this. And he's the one who kind of, you can almost say, brought this to the Western world.
So Wim Hof is a phenomenal person. And about 10 years ago, he started becoming more and more popular. And he got famous for swimming in the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah.
And for those who have watched the movie Titanic, people who take a cold plunge like that, they die. But however, he's not like that. And people consider him the Iceman. And also, they think that he's superhuman.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, he's just like you and me. And he considers himself not that special.
Nope. He's just a regular guy doing regular things, apparently, that we can all potentially do if we wanted to. I think on this side, yes. So aside from obviously doing all these incredible cold feats, he is called the Iceman. It's not just that, it's his body's ability to just maintain itself and sustain extreme conditions. He climbed Everest in his shorts. The man ran a full marathon in a polar circle on his, I believe he did it barefoot as well. And, of course, he's got the longest ice bath. He's got that in the Guinness Book of World Records. But he ran across the desert, not having drank any water. The man is just able to do a lot with his body through practicing these techniques, through using both breathwork, intention, mindset, meditation, and then constantly stressing his body in small doses to build that resilience. And as he says many times, he's not special. He can teach anyone to do these things, and in fact, he has. And so he's creating an entire world of superhumans by sharing his knowledge.
His accolades are too many to list, but these are some of the things that he has accomplished. So let's just leave it at that. This is not the entirety of Wim Hof.
No, nowhere near.
Right.
And again, as we just pointed out, his primary message to everyone that he teaches, anyone can do this. Anyone can learn how to do this, and his whole entire method is based on 3 pillars. It's breathing, cold exposure, and mindset. Those 3, and You're going to bulletproof yourself. We could have you read this. We could read it for you. We're just going to leave this up for 2 more seconds because this is pretty much just reiterating exactly what we just said. So again, it's about mastering both the mind and the body. And Wim Hof has shown in many research studies now that he's able to consciously train his immune system and adapt. In 2011, he had flu endotoxins injected into him. Okay, so doctors came in, put these flu endotoxins in him, and he was able to raise consciously his levels of cortisol. Basically, cortisol and adrenaline, in fact, and that staved off a lot of the inflammation. We're going to actually look at that research study. We're going to kind of piece apart why. But just so you know, he was able to take a group of individuals and train them to do the very same thing he did in just 4 days. 4 days to be able to then be injected with a flu toxin and not have to experience any of flu-like symptoms. They were able to modulate their inflammation very, very well, just from engaging in breathing right before and then having the proper mindset going in. And honestly, a lot of people who've been trained in the Wim Hof method, they see resolution of many symptoms, okay? Because most disease that we see is the result of unmitigated stress. Stress in small doses is a healthy thing. You know, we need it sometimes, but unmitigated chronic stress and anxiety and inflammation in the body that is a consequence of that results in a lot of different diseases and illnesses. And so no matter what it is that you're coming in with, you may see symptom resolution of a lot of these because stress and inflammation really do sit at the very base and foundation of all of them.
In future videos, we will be, Tom and I will come up together and we're going to explain the science from a biological standpoint. And also I want to give you guys the ancient understanding of how these things get transformed just by simply breathing more. And we'll talk about that more.
So just to give you an idea of what Wim Hof is doing, it's a form of almost controlled hyperventilation. That's what they call it. You're basically breathing in very quickly, and so when you get rid of a lot of the CO2 in your body, it alkalizes the blood. And part of that alkalization is what actually allows you to perform extreme feats because it reduces your pain threshold, right? But also just know that disease is primarily triggered and perpetuated by an acidic body. An acidic body is the result of alcohol consumption, overconsumption of meat, sugar, a lot of different things. Unmitigated stress. That causes an acidic response in the body. So this form of breathing actually alkalizes the body. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
And again, hyperventilation causes a minor fight or flight response in the body, but by doing it in a very controlled setting, you're increasing your body's ability to navigate that fight or flight. And that's really what we're doing. That and also, as you can see here, we get a burst of adrenaline, and adrenaline has been shown to improve our focus. It releases any stored blood glucose, so that way we get energized to do whatever we need to do, and has been shown to actually dampen inflammation in and of itself. So adrenaline, that molecule, is wonderful for those reasons.
And one of the things that I really enjoy about this breathing technique is that in the morning when I wake up, I have a certain level of mucus. And after doing the breathing technique, my level of mucus comes down. And I think this is one of the breathing techniques that are very important to do these days now, especially people who are suffering from COVID-19 to a certain level, because one, it boosts up your immune system, and also because it's able to get rid of the mucus, you're able to get rid of the fluids in your lung, which is preventing you from breathing.
Right. And just to build off that, doing it in the morning is also just very energizing. Like, forget coffee. Like, do some Wim Hof, and like you're gonna get a burst of energy. And so like that's what I've been doing. I recently had to cut off coffee, and I switched over to decaf. But like just to give myself that added little extra energy in the morning, Wim Hof breathing. I'm telling you, it really activates the ATP in your body. And so let's just do a quick rundown of what's happening. Like if you're sick, if something happens in your body boosts up its innate immune response. And so a lot of people make this mistake thinking that the pathogens or whatever's causing our disease are responsible for our symptoms. And that's not necessarily true. It's indirectly true. But basically, the immune system is launching a response to whatever's coming in. And so any fever, chills, headaches, right, that's your body's own response to those pathogens, trying to eliminate them and trying to make itself better. And it's automatic. And most people did not think that that's something we had conscious control over. Wim Hof was able to show that, yes, we can, in fact, actually consciously direct our immune functions.
One of the interesting things about Wim Hof is that a lot of scientists did not believe what he was able to do and what his claims were, so they launched research studies because they found this guy so fascinating. And the cool thing is that in 2019, those scientists who studied won the Nobel Prize in Science.
Yeah.
And that was a very, very big finding. And we're learning about the human body thanks to this man.
And so we're going to look at the actual studies themselves, but just to give you some quick context, basically with the breathing, Wim Hof is able to just flood his body with adrenaline. And more specifically, there's this one particular molecule called interleukin-10, which is anti-inflammatory. So it's anti-inflammatory, but it also inhibits and prevents inflammatory proteins in your body from being released, right? And so that actually drastically dampens the symptoms that you experience when you're sick, right? Because it's an inflammatory process that's occurring in the body that's causing you to feel sick, unwell. Also, the adrenaline that we mentioned earlier, believe it or not, it spurs leukocytosis, which means your body is producing more white blood cells. So here you have this damping of inflammation, but this boost in immune function. So it's really a twofold win with that. And he's able to do this just by taking control of his autonomic nervous system. And again, as we mentioned, that's not something that we thought possible until he came onto the scene. And as we mentioned earlier, he was able to take people and train them to do the exact same thing in just 4 days. So don't think that this is something that's hard to attain, that it takes a very long time to do. With consistent practice, anyone can do this. And so here we just have one of the studies, and what I really just want to point your attention to is, again, the fact that we notice that there is this rise in anti-inflammatory cytokines interleukin-10, right? And that has led to a lowering of pro-inflammatory interleukins in those who are actually trained in this breathing practice. And as a result, flu-like symptoms were much lower in those who were injected than those who were not trained and injected with that particular endotoxin fluid. And again, this is just another study for those who want to look into it, but I do have a few little things here that I wanted to also point out. Again, we can see that our cortisol levels did temporarily increase, and cortisol can be anti-inflammatory in the short term. And we do see that people had an elevation in leukocytes, white blood cells. So again, and that's just 30 minutes after starting the breathing technique, there was an elevation of white blood cells. So these guys were able to basically have a robust, strong immune response without feeling the consequences that normal flu-like symptoms would produce in the body. Like, they just didn't suffer as much. And in fact, what we're going to see in the next slide, there was a very quick, swift normalization of fever and cortisol in those who were trained versus those who were not. And so again, we're boosting immune function, we're quickly reducing or in fact eliminating a lot of the symptoms associated with any kind of illness or disease. And just to cap it off, this is, as we mentioned earlier, stress is vastly important in modulating these. An overactive stressful response to anything, of course, reduces immune responses. It elevates inflammation. And so having a healthy stress response, very important. And practicing these breathing practices actually changes the brain itself to be more resilient to stress, more focused. And so this transfers into your everyday. You know, like, you're going to be far more efficient, in much better mood. And you'll see here, it actually also helps the body produce its own opioids and endocannabinoids. So reduces pain in the body, makes you feel good. And all that just through learning how to breathe properly and learning all these other different techniques that Tae and I are going to teach you guys.
So starting next week, on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, starting at 11 a.m. Through Zoom during the lockdown, we'll be running classes for $10. So we really encourage you to bring your family members, because you're in lockdown anyway, right? So instead of doing this by yourself, the 10 classes for your entire family. We don't care if your friends are there or whatever, you want to get a group of 10 people. We really encourage you to grab as many people as you can to get access to this and try to do this with us.
Yeah.
And at the end, we'll do questions and answers, and we'll also release more videos to the general public about this technique. And I've been doing this for more than, God, I'm getting old. I've been doing this for more than 20 years. The Wim Hof technique has only been around for about 10, 15 years, widely known to the general public. I've been doing this technique, this type of breathing, for a lot longer before the discovery of science, that scientific research has really gone into this. And my take on this is that aside from the research, you start feeling differently. And my office manager, Maria at this office, can attest that for the past 10 years, I have not called in sick. And one of the attributing reasons is that I maintain a breathing practice on a regular basis. So a lot of people in our school, my acupuncture school, knows that I was a Qigong practitioner, and I was not a regular Qigong practitioner. I was, practice this on a regular basis. And a class like this that we're teaching would be worth a lot more. In Manhattan, just the Wim Hof seminar with the cold plunge is worth at least $175. Obviously, through online, we're not doing a cold plunge, but this is worth a lot more. But we're trying to give this value because it is important for everyday people to know something like this. So the $10 is just there so that you have value to sign up, and we encourage you to bring. And for those people who are concerned about their immune system or have health issues, we encourage you to attend as many classes, because learning one class is not going to really change your life. You need to practice long enough so that you have the momentum to continue on your own. Okay. So we look forward to your email that you are interested, and please talk to your friends and family that on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 11 a.m. we'll be doing this live. So you're not getting a recording of this. We're doing this live. And at the end of the class, we'll be having a little bit of Q&A. And if we receive a lot of questions, based on those questions, we will release more videos for everyone to watch so that we know what we're doing. Right. And we would really appreciate it if you can share this message to people in this area, in the town of Great Neck, Manhasset, Port Washington, Bayside, Little Neck, Douglaston, and Roslyn. These areas, because this is the community we serve, and we would like to equip these breathing techniques as much as we can to the general public at large.
Yeah, and it's not just going to be the breathing techniques. Tae and I are going to discuss a lot of different things. We're going to dive into a lot of other different things that we also teach here at the office. And it's outside of just the breathing. I mean, there will be different forms of meditation that we can do, different things that you can do with the body. And just also some basic education around what can I do to stay healthy, whether it's around diet, whether it's around lifestyle, things like how important is sleep, how important are all these other different things that we should be doing on a day-to-day, maintaining a good, healthy lifestyle, a good, healthy mind and body. And so we want to give you as much content in these next few days, maybe next couple weeks or so, whatever, however long it takes. So that way it'll bulletproof you guys and really make sure that you have exactly what you need to just be living optimal lives.
This online class is going to be the foundation of breathwork that leads to two paths. One program will be done at the Key Body and Spirit Center, where we do our NeuroFlex program in regards to fixing everybody's posture, because everybody is walking around like this. So for those who are watching this video, try to do what I'm doing right now. Like hunch over, because this is the way we sit in front of our computers. And for many of you, are literally standing like this and looking at their phone. And if you try to take a deep breath in this position, it's very limited. But if you change your posture and take a deep breath in, it's a lot easier when your body's in a better position to do this. So that's the NeuroFlex program that we're going to be doing at the Key Body and Spirit Center. And the other path, in collaboration with the Rosin Salt Cave with Wendy, we're going to do an exclusive meditation course that comes from a lot of Taoist traditions, and that will cover like the Buddhist meditations as well as the yogic tradition as well. So I've been doing this for a long time, and there are no classes like this, and a lot of people have been becoming more and more conscious about meditation. So I'm going to give a 10-lecture series with practices that's going to take place at the Rosin Salt Cave. So stay tuned for more information. But if you take this class, you'll come pretty much prepared for either one of these two things. So
yeah, and just know, like, just because we have the science right now, like, these are practices that have been passed down for hundreds, thousands of years. So I mean, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and thousands of years. It's old knowledge, right? But like, we're finally also seeing the science back it up. So there's a lot of validity to a lot of what we've always known helps the body and the mind. So definitely please tune in, join us, learn, grow, practice. Part of showing up at 11 a.m., we are expecting you to commit. That's why we want you there, okay? So that way you're engaged and you're doing it. So please show up. Email is right here. You can email either Tae or I, and then we'll compile the list. We'll make sure everyone gets the necessary information they need. And I'm excited. Tae's excited. And so definitely look forward to helping you guys out, and stay tuned.
thank you. All right. Everybody stay safe. Practice your safe distancing. Keep your hands clean. And grab a friend and breathe with us so that we can boost up our immune system, gain our lung function back. Take care.